Tal Hell and Barbados, we heard your Arian copulation, Pelagiarist, Remonstrant, Montgomeryite. Short lives to your relatives, you're babsexed, so you're with Macaglosis and Micrus Felix. Wait now, like Splip, I sent ego archicism. I will take you to task. I don't follow you that far in your otherwise accurate account. Was it Exos, Lucius, or Salmo Ferax? You are taxing us into the driven future, are you not? With his rutty-made fishery? Lalaya, Lelea, Lilia, Lulia, and lovely, lively, lively, lovely Lola Montez. Gubernator, that they say is a Fenian on the secret, named Parasol Irily, spawning over and fry, like a Marie monarch, all a many governed his 7 parish churches, and peopling the ribald baronies with dans, ogues, and colonels. Lift it now, hosty, humps your mark for Runnymede landing, a dondering, fesh fish magnum carpum, et hit do zoo. There's an old psalm sobbing, Laxalmana, foggy boren, heron, plundlehouse, who went floundering with his boatloads of spearmen spunk about, leaping freck after every long tom and wet issy between Howth and Humbermouth, our human conger eel. Hep, I can see him in the fish do, up wee whippy, hold that lad, play him, Mark and Dane, bullhead. Pull you, sir, Olive Quill does it, long gale of Malin, he'll cry before his flayed, and his tear make new his land. Did you rise, way long fush, the great fin make cumul. Three o'er the wild, Manuere. He missed her mouth and stood into D, Romunculus Remus, plying the rape so as now my Bombris is bound to get up her, if he pull her leg and bunk on her butt. No, he skid like a skate and birth on her burney, and never a fear but they'll land him yet. Slithery scales on Liffey bank. Times and times, and half a time, with a pillow of sand to polster him. Do you say they will? I bet you they will. Among the shivering sedges so, weedy waving, or tulip beds of rush below. Where you take your mugs to wash after dark? To my lead, to me lout, Tommy lad. Besides the bubbly waters of bubbly waters of? Right. Grenadiers, and tell me now, were these anglers or anglers coexistent and compresent with or without their tertium quid? 3 and 1, 1 and 3, Shem and Sean, and the shame that sunders them, wisdom's son, folly's brother. God bless your jingle, jinga, wiggle waggle. That's 3 slots and no burners. You're forgetting the gingy joes, for the fat boys. What Walker John referent, play us your Patmost, and unpack you loops. Naif Cruacan, woe on woe, says Wardep daily. Woman will water the wild world over, and the maid of the folly will go where glory. Sure, I thought it was larking in the trefoil of the furry glange with 2 stripping barmaids. Stiller Underwood and Moth Magari, he was hand to dagger. That time in their mother a raw knee pud frows, I was given to understand was superfluous. Heirs Begum. There was that one that was always mad gone on him. Her first king of cloves and the most broad-cussed man in Cork on Sharon, County Roscarnham. Sure she was near drowned in pondest cold streams of admiration for herself, as bad as my Tarpian cousin Vesta Tuley, making faces at her back-spilled likeness in the brook, after uncooling herself in the element, she pleasing it, she praising it with solaces of Wado Wells, all tossed as she was. The play-actress, Low Shearling's love. Oh, Ad Sheelsom's bride little, all of her own, Narcissus are as the daughters of inversion. Cecilia's through their laughing glasses became pooler mates in laker life. It seems to same with Iscapellas, a ticky for tie-tots. Listenest, me merest, they were harrowed, those Finweeds. Come rest in this bosom, so sorry you lost him, poor lamb. Of course I know you were a very wicked girl to go in the dream place and that at that time of the dream, and it was a very young thing to do, even under the dark flush of night, dear old Grandpasia. He's gone on his bombashore, through geezing and so pleasing at strip-teasing. Up the stairs the boys on the corner were talking too, and your sorrowful miseries first come on you. Still to forgive it, divine my little whiffy, and everybody knows you do look lovely in your invincibles. Eulogia, a perfect apposition with the cold cream. A saluta from Boalo's I always use in the wards after I am burned a rich egg and derive the greatest benefit. Sign of the cause, my you do. Simply adorable. Could I but pass my hands through thine hair. So, Vicky, Vertony, oh Francis, say how d'ye do? Dotty chickens, the way they curve there under new charming cuffs. I am more divine like that when I've 2 of everything up to the boy-proof nicks, winning in a way. Only my arms are white, dear Blanche Amain. Idler fair hair, frail one, listen me, sweetie. Oh, be joyful, mirror do justice, taper of ivory. Heart of the convent, hoops of gold, my veil will save it, undying from this eternal fire. It's meemly us two, meem idle. Of course it was downright very wicked of him, really meeting me disguised. Bartolomeo perfectly appealing. D.Y. with my lovebirds, my Columbiners, their sensitive shrinked, ever Knitter and Linda. I'll see you titties, and they've seen some Tim. Tankers, my willies were Liebenows, my accents amber. How me adores each other simply. Mon Ishabot, ma Rhinabelle, in his storm collar, as I learned yesterday. Yestreen from his muckish labs, even my little Pom got excited, when I turned his head on his same manly bust, and kissed him more. Only he might speak to a person, Lord, so piteous. Taken up by worth, ill wrong. May I introduce? This is my fruitorous lips and looks love-lust. Still me with you, you poor child. We'll make it up with your mother conception and the glorious lie between us, sweetness, so as not a novine in all the convent Laura Tuss, not my littlest one of all, for mercy's sake need ever know what passed our lips. Oh, yes, sir, will. Cloth your wine, purify, covetous nist, banish the dread. Our litton's looking, lo him lovely, make him feel good in the moontime. It will all take blossoms oranged at St. Audien's rose and chocolate chapelry, with my diamonds. Blick feast after a mini-owned house, for all the cat club to go crazy, and Father Blasius Mendelssohn will be reminding hand. Kyriel elation, crystal elation, Kyriel elation immense. Sing to us, a mam, so meum, nearest, languished hister. Be free to me, I'm fading, and listen you beauty Esther. I'll be clue to who knows you, pray Magda Martha, with Luz and Joan, while I lie with the warm-up lisp on the tulka. I'm fey. You sapia fele tu te. Languishing hysteria? The clue historique? How is this at all? Is that's the thing, is such ortics at that? Here we hear for first prose prome of Siora unto Siora, alicious twin streams, twine strange through alluring glass, or alas in Jumbo land. Ding dong. Where's your pal in silk saluster? Think of a maiden presentation, double her annunciation. Take your first thoughts away from her immolation. Knock and it shall appall you unto you, who shun yet shimmers, will be a skeeding. Clusive wall her Hilda Hindley, after lyric and Themodius. Softer glow iris of the vals, the young bar lady, what euphemiasly? Is she having an ambigual act herself in apparition with the self, as consuelos to Sonia's May? Dang and tether alloquy, oh. This and that and these and those. You're crackly out of your turn. My moonster firefly, like always. And 2RN and Longhorn's Connacht. Stay off my air. You've grabbed the capital and you've had the lion's shire since 1542. But there's all the difference in Ireland between your borderation, my chatty cove, and me. The Leinster boy to the wall is gone, and there's Maureen Astorian for Morn and Con, with the tykes named Moke, Doggymens, Nimmerjun. You last led the first when we last but fill the first trump, with your last with a lasting. Jump the rail chairs or take them as you please. But, and sir, my questions first. Foxy Jack, you have as much scullabogue cheek on you now as you rode a boil the cauldron of Calabros. Did the Marquette missioners hide and womb well, when given the raspberry find more than Shanstein % of chalk in the purity, promptitude and perfection flower of this raw material, and less than a seventh mile in his meal? We bright young chaps of the brand new brain trust are briefed here, and with maternal sanction, compellably empanelled at quarter sessions under the 6 disqualifications for the uniformication of young persons nodding neutrals removal act by commitment number under 15 to know had the peeress of generals, who have been getting more nosy money cheap and stirring up the public opinion about private balls with their legs. Mrs. Martha and Mary, the 2 Dreepers assistants, had they their service books in order and duly signed J. H. North and Company when discharged from their last situations? Will ye go up and tell the board in the antrim how, in the name of the 3 tailors on the Tooley Street, did O. Bedjoramanson, or Mock Mac Mahonich, ex of Button Hogsheads, violating the bushel standard, come into awful position full of bellywash? And why is it harm to ask why this hackney man in the comb, a paper sailor with a white look to him, Fork Fitzhorson, collected from Manofezzle, carrying his ark of egg-shaped fuselage, and made in Fredbork into the Bulgarian, across his back, when he might have been sitting on the Jonas side, inside like a glashier's cabin. Where were the Dow boys, 3 by numbers, worn in Zyle, Cavill X's on Hearts of Steel, Hanson Morfid, and Odias VD with their Glen and Garys, directing their steps according to the RUC's liaison officer, with their trench ulcers open and their hands in their pockets, contrary to military rules. When confronted with the life-size obstruction, when did he live off rooking the poor, and how did start faffing all his Peterson and Helicots? Is it a factual fact, proved up to the scape teeth hilt, that this fancy-dressed Nordic in shaved lamb breeches, child's kilts, baby buntings and Wellingtons, with club, torque and headdress, freeholder of the Bar Ptolemy, is co-owner of a Hengster circus near North Great Denmark Street? Incidentally, it's the most enjoyable show going on in the province, and I'm taking the youngsters there Saturday first, when it's half-price Naturals night, to see the fallen sicklers aping the Buckley backers, and the blind to 2 worlds taking off the Deafy Down dummies. And the Sham Shem showman has been complaining to the police barracks and applying for an order of certiorari and crying out something vile about him being molested, after him having triplets by offers of vacancies from females in this city, neighing after the man and his outstanding attraction ever since they seen his X-ray picture turned out in wealthy red in the Sabbath sheets. Was it him that suborned that son, mutual son of his, a literary distributor, in St. Patrick's lavatory, to turn a Roman and leave the chair, and gout in his bare balbriggans to sweep and buy the usual jar of porter at the morgue and cruises, and set it down before the wife with his fireman's helmet on her, bidding her mind the hoose, the strumpet, while him and his larg and loaves were rampaging the roads in all their power ply, under the noses of the Heliopolitan Constabulary. Can you beat it? Prepare the way. Where's the gendarme auxiliar, aeronautic, sapper, artillery, that reported on the whole hoodlum, relying on the Morse Earth wordy book and the trunchine up his tail, roof sexine, Van der Deckel, and get a story from him. Recall Sickerson the Lizzie boy, Seckerson Magnon of Eric's Sackerson hookup. Day Shirker for Van Floats, Evidence Market, High Liquor, Made Lost Torpedo, Hunter Orchid. Hunter Orchid gob, and he found it on her right enough, with her shoes upon his shoulders. 'Twas most trying to beholders, when he upped their fullet tuller pleats, without warning, a disgrace to the homely Protestant religion, bloody old Preadamite with his 2-handled umbrella. Trust me to spy on my own spew. Walpurgis, and is this your deified city, Norganson? And it's wheeze to pray for Big Mrs. conversions? Call Kitty the Beads, the man dame of Tipnock Castle. Let Succubus succumb, the improvable his wealth made possible. He's cooking Hagar that roast her prayer to him upon the top of the stairs. She's deep, that one. A farter noiser for his tuckish amenities, our former who erred in having down to gibbous distag our darling breed, and then the conviture for the boob's indulgence, as suctioned for his salmon bog by the counsellors on Trent, paved Panam at his gaiter's bronze, number half dreads log louty, master's gun, he was the beds, I messaged his dilatoids, saucer panda muscles on the kitchen table, with my ironing duck through his roll pins of gansy fet, do-do-do, dowdy-dow, till he was blazing red in the toast face, with Lorensoft eye bulbs and his kiddle drums steaming and rattling the roasties in my mocker mill. I ought to have him scorched in his eye bombs brack for him. For the loaf of Obadiah, fake your pastry arts, now as out to me flower bouquet of the strangest scene you given squeezes to his skillet. As cream of the hearth thou reignest all home. His lapper and libbers were glued ghoul red as he sizzled there watching me Lord Rick's picture by Wexford's atelier as Katie and Lana, the refined soubrette with my bust a la brooch and the pad burn under my matalote showing my jiggety sleeves and all my too loosies. Whisk, there's me shims and here's me hams and this is me jupettes. Goes be the metier. Whisk, what's this? Whisk. And that. He never clutched finer, barely me, at Romeo Fellini's flea pantomime, out of griddle the sink, or shoosies with their souls up, or Lassozarelli, the Pussy Boots, when I started so hop-mop, ladle-like, highty-tighty, to kick the time off the cluck-clock, look-clock-quam-quam, cam-cam, pot-a-put, pan-a-pam, kick-a-kick-cack-cack, hare-haw, hound, shake-up, fortnap, fuddling him for fullican's sake. I'll halt. Sponsor programs and close down, that's enough. General ficking about Finnegan and fiddling with his faddles, a final ballot governor to remove all doubt by sylph and salamander, and all the trolls and tritons. I mean to top her drive and to tip the tap of this at last. His thoughts that would be words, his livings that have been deeds, and will too by the holy child of cool, prima patriarch of the artsy. If I have it first to down every mask in Transcenania, from Terry's hole to Stutterer's corner to find that yoke of his letter, this yoke and his diet, past the jousters of the king, the Coffler Journal, and Aeronarch, Custos himself no less, the Meg of Megs, with the Carrison old gang, off with you Persians, search ye the Finn, the cinders under shriving sheet, far fee fi fo fum. Ho, croak, evildoer, arise, Sir Ghostus. As long as you've lived there, there'll be no other. Doff.